right, guys. I want to address a question that I get a lot regarding the open, the Fab Four, and location, and all that. Now, I'm going to address a few things. Really go over the position, okay? The position after the open. There's three of them that are key, okay? Now, right here, let's just take this chart for what it is, and let's do what we would always do. We know this is the open here, right? So we would mark our Fab 4, which is going to be the last 45 minutes, which would be here, right? And the lowest point, which was here. Bit of a wider Fab 4, not ideal, but it's just an example for something a little bit different, okay? Just bear with me. So this is what we would do. We would mark this, okay? And we would be planning for the market to open, which would be here, right? Ideally, if we have the market open below, we know we open around here, something like this. We get a continuation, whatever the case may be. Or you can open up here, boom, and get a nice move to the upside above this Fab 4 here. But if you open right underneath the Fab 4, this is position 1. Okay, right here. Let's say if we got a candle like this. That was like this. Right here, around this location, right underneath, right? That's position 1. Position 2 will be something like this. Right around this range. Mid-range. Okay? Position 3 is going to be something down there. Okay? Now, when you're in position 3, there is a higher probability of a bounce back to the upside. Okay? Position 2 is a mid-range. It could go either way. Just pay attention to price action, entry events, and the whole 9 SMAs. But the point is the middle, right? And number 1, I'm looking for shorts here. I'm looking for shorts to the downside. Right here, you're looking for longs. Right here, you're looking for shorts. Right here is 50-50. Okay? So whenever you get a candle that opens down here, let's say, if you get one of these, and then you immediately get one of these, be a little hesitant. Maybe wait on the next one, and let's say this is a color change. Maybe wait on the next one to break the color changes low, just to confirm, to further confirm, versus jumping in immediately just because we're in position 3, right? So you note this. This is something you have to be able to identify whenever price opens. And whenever it opens down here, we know automatically that we're in position 3, right? So once we get an entry event, you could take this to the upside, right? Once we identify that this is position 3 and the power, the volume, the strength is in the green, is in the market. One way to do that would be to break the first candle's high with this. That would be one way. If you wanted double confirmation, you could wait on a color change entry event to the upside just to show volume, or you could wait on a power bar engulfing 180, bullish 180, double tail bars. These are the entry events I'll talk about in the PDF, but you could wait on one of these entry events and then enter long. So let's just say you entered into power. Right there, boom. You entered into power. And you'd be back up. Right up to the Fab 4 again. So you're mid Fab 4 from position 3 in the market. Right? Position 2, about the middle. Position 1, here. Because imagine if we open here, right? Let's just say we open here and then we get a color change. Look at all the room we get to profit. But instead it opened here. It profited all overnight and we weren't in it. So This is why our bias could be a little bit different times like this. Not saying it can't continue down, because it can. The market can do what it wants to do, but this is just an example I wanted to show you guys. You know, and they happen all the time. This was Tesla. You know, same song and dance here. You go for Fab Four, which is still a little boxy, but you get the idea. Um, and we just opened so far from where price closed, right? It's just so far from where price closed that once you see color change engulfing power, once you see tail bars, when this support right here hold, this support right here hold with this, I mean, you know, you kind of, this is going to be an opposite bias because of where position opened, where price opened in correlation to the Fab 4 and the SMAs, right? Um, so this is something we have to be able to identify. Even though after the open Fab 4 right here, this example, we're short because that's our strategy in this, right? And then we're short whenever we have the 20 underneath the 200, which we have in this, right? And then we're also enter off of a color change entry event, which we have in this, right? So this is good. But the reason why I'm hesitant to take these on just the entry event is because the positioning. So this is something you have to identify, otherwise you are stopped out right here. So this is a great example to show you guys that power right after that entry event totally engulfed it. So this pretty much shows you the position is so far that this move has pretty much happened, right? That profit was supposed to be here. Boom, we were going to ride it down, and then we get a bounce, but that didn't happen. Right? So the position is very, very key. In correlation to where price opens, if it's gonna bounce, if it won't bounce, whatever I don't know, whatever it is. But this is a NVIDIA example. A NVIDIA example here. It's, you know, same thing. You go over Fab 4. Good example there. You open so far from where price closed. You see what I'm saying? From where it closed up here above the SMAs, we opened so far down that this is a big move, and we could be thinking about a reversal because of where price opened in correlation to the Fab and to the SMAs and to where price closed the prior day, right? So this is something to look out for in the market. But then you have great examples of these, and I think this was one Friday. I'm pretty sure. Yep, right here. See, this is a great example of you opening in a good position. Now, a bad position would be up here. If we look at this, 3, 2, 1. You know what I mean? So if we were to open way up here, yeah, that's a big move. But we didn't. We opened here, which is not which is maybe you can probably call that 2. You do your Fab here. You know, you call that 2. And then you got 3 up here. But what we can see here that it's not as far from the Fab, from the close, from the SMAs, right? So whenever we get a color change entry event near that 20, the 20's trending coming from the narrow stay, it's also above the 200. 200's below the 20. That's an easy game, but this is just an example to show you of why it worked versus the other ones that were in that position of short and then gave us a short entry but didn't work. And this one is in position of long and gave us a long entry but didn't work. Right? Same thing here. AMD, this was Friday. 1, 2, 3. So the fact that we're in position 1 right above the Fab 4 with the green candle, color change entry, 20 above the 200, 200 below the 20, and we're going to ride that up until we break the 20. So that's a good example of opening in position 1 right there. Nothing too crazy with this, guys, but it's just I think this is a question I get a lot. You just have to be able to identify what position it's in. If it's in position 1, I'm automatically thinking long if we're opening above. I'm leaning long. Over here, I'm leaning short. If we're opening above the Fab 4 in position 3, I'm leaning to the downside. Right? This one is 50%. I'm sticking to my rules here. I get an entry event. I'm trying it. Stop underneath the color change. Don't work, on to the next. So this is something that's needed to be identified. Whenever you're looking at the open and you're drawing your Fab 4s and you're doing all that. So yeah, because that's just a move. You know, like that's a move over. Like look at this as a candle. You know what I mean? Or a couple candles, solid candles, however you want to look at it. You don't want to see huge. That's a big move. It could retrace easily whenever it opens in these positions. In this position 3, it's got so much room to come down versus position 1 with room to run and ride that 20. You know? That's really it. I just wanted to show you guys the 3 positions and show you how to identify them. Okay, position 3, if you're underneath the Fab 4, in position 3, you're leaning long. If you're above the Fab 4, in position 3, you're leaning short. 2 is 50-50. If you're below the Fab 4 on position 1, I'm leaning short. Above the Fab 4 on position 2, position 1, I'm leaning long. So these things we have to know them because they're very, very key, because it'll trick you. You'll get an entry event and you'll get stopped out solely because the entry event was triggered in the wrong position. So all these things have to align in order for it to work and play out accordingly. Okay. If you guys have any questions, just reach out or comment. All right, that's it.